Okay, but yeah, so Capo, you're probably when it comes to the Discord, I always have this thing in mind of like we have the people who've grown and shown themselves like musically and shown their talent and stuff in the Discord. You're probably the rare case of the
Yeah.
person who's come from outside and like been a part of the Discord and already established.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, I don't know how I managed to really end up in the Discord, to be honest with you. I still don't remember the day that I joined it. Um,
How did you
yeah,
join?
like, I'm not sure, man. I think I just came across it like by accident.
Hmm.
I was like watching a stream. I think I must have been watching like a stream or like a YouTube video or something
Hmm.
that spoke about the beat battles, and I was like, what is that like? I've never done a beat battle before in my life, like,
Hmm.
and I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a go. And then the first, like, that was the first one that I did, and I won it. And then, yeah, just got involved with the Discord through that, and just the amount of people that are in there, like the amount of talented people is just crazy. So it's like, yeah, it's such a great place to meet other musicians and stuff. But yeah, it kind of I don't really feel that different though. Like when I'm talking to people, I already in my head I already think that people are like well on the track to being established artists anyway, just purely on a talent level. So like
Hmm.
I don't really think about that kind
Hmm.
of stuff.
So your connection and like the way you found the community, it wasn't through how most people say where like they're a fan of Kenny to begin with and then they join the community. You
Yeah,
like you
well,
just
I was a
stumbled upon
fan.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was a fan of Kenny, but I didn't even have Discord, so I didn't even know what Discord was.
Mhm.
Um,
At at that time, were you a part of any other communities when it came to like specific artists or specific genres, anything like that?
mm, no, not really. I've always kind of just been like working within like the music industry session world where
Mm-hmm.
like you kind of work with artists that are up and coming, but they have already been chosen by labels and stuff. So kind of like the genre is like kind of it varies from genre to genre, but it seems like everyone in here is either like a hip hop head or like into left field music or like something along those lines. So it's like bang
Mm-hmm.
up my street because that's what I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was like a fan of Kenny anyway. Just his production and stuff, but I had no idea that he even had a community until I
Mm-hmm.
just stumbled across it. But it's
Mm-hmm.
it's been it's been like really, really great. It's been one of the best things that has gone on in my music career for a while now because it just feels super, super fresh and like
Mm-hmm.
everyone in here is really willing to kind of try new stuff and work and collaborate, and that's not always possible in like the real music industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of it is like very shut off. Like I
Mm-hmm.
could, write the sickest beat in the world, but I'm not. There's no way that I'm gonna get it to fucking like I don't know the weekend or something. It's just impossible. But if you play that beat in here, everyone's like, "Fuck it, I want to work on that." Like, there's 10 other people that are just like, "Yeah, let's do something fun." Like, and that's why I started writing music in the first place is to like collaborate with people.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
into that, if we can pivot to like, because you said the session world and the music industry, where did that begin for you?
I was in a band when I was like 18,
Mm-hmm.
and the band did okay. We kind of like got signed to a record label and stuff. And then the band split up, and then I started doing session guitar playing for people and kind of working in studios, like assisting, because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to be at the time because I really hated music after my band split up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I kind of wanted to work in a studio. I also wanted to kind of do like A&Ring. Um, I was just a bit in between things, but I started playing session guitar for like a couple of artists and then ended up helping them write some songs. And then from that, I kind of got like interest from managers and things like that because
Mm-hmm.
the songs were getting released. So they wanted to know who was part of the writing behind it. And then from there, just kind of got like a publishing deal from that, really, which is like super lucky. I just kind of fell into that as well.
Mm-hmm. And for sure, but that transition from just being, or not just being, but being the session guitarist at the studio to actually participating in writing songs. How's
Yeah.
that transition when it comes to like an artist coming in and then asking you for advice?
Um, Shit. I don't know really. You just kind of like hang around with people. So you go in there to like at the start, I was going in just to record guitar lines that they already had or whatever. Or like they've asked me to remake something that was from a sample or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, and then you just kind of like stick around and you end up chatting to them, and then before you know it, like they want you to come back because you know you're a cool person or whatever, and like
Hmm.
got a good vibe, and before you know it, you're like writing the songs with them.
Was
I
that
don't
your
really know
first
how it
time
works.
writing?
Yeah, that was like my first time writing for anyone except for
Hmm.
myself,
Hmm.
and it like I love that way more than writing songs for myself.
And at that time, because you said you had a band, were you directly influenced by anything at that time?
Um, really shit indie music, probably.
Really shit indie
Yeah,
music.
just really crap shit indie music that
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't be seen dead listening to now.
Hmm.
Yeah, we sucked. We sucked so bad, but fuck
And
it.
was that like, did the band end and then there was like a break off point when everyone was like doing their own thing, or did you stick together?
Yeah. We kind of like we it ended on like quite bad terms. So we were like best friends from high school or whatever. So we have stayed in contact, but I think only one other person is doing music
Hmm.
now. We kind of just they kind of just went off their own ways doing
Hmm.
whatever.
So you
Other
pull
career.
off to this session guitarist, then start writing, then start getting more involved in production.
Hmm.
At what point do you go like, oh, I should start focusing on making maybe my own songs or getting artists on my songs instead of writing for others?
Um, I guess well, I've never really been a producer until like the past 3 or 4 years. I was just like kind of writing with another producer. So the other guy in the room would be producing it and I'd be helping to like write the chords or the melody or whatever. I was just like the music guy.
Mm.
Um, but then as soon as I got the publishing deal, I kind of realized that I needed to like up my game in
Mm.
terms of if I have all these songs, like they sound like absolute dog shit because I was like recording them on GarageBand or whatever, like all these little loops and shit, and it just sounded terrible. I was like, there's no one's gonna touch these anyway. Like the ideas might be incredible, but like they just sound crap. They sound like they're recorded on an iPhone.
For sure.
So I put in loads of effort in like upping my production game. Um, yeah, like years and years and years of it.
Mm.
Um, and I feel like it's only just got to a point recently where I'm like, okay, I think I can call myself a producer
Hmm.
rather than like a beat maker or melody maker or
Did the
whatever.
publishing deal, did that put maybe motivation or did it put pressure on you at that
Uh,
time?
yeah, a bit of both because I realized that I wasn't really ready to to get into that world at the time. I was still trying to figure it out. Um, but yeah, it did feel like quite a lot of pressure because um, yeah, there's a lot of talented people like who had been doing it for a lot longer than me. And I was supposed to be like going up against them if you want to like put it that way.
Mm.
And I just wasn't really at that standard. So I probably needed like a couple more years of like basically what a lot of people are doing in the Discord right now, like
Mm.
figuring out people to work with, figuring out their sound, figuring out like how to actually make shit, like talking about plugins and whatever.
Hmm.
I probably needed that like back then.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it was a pretty steep learning curve, but like
Mm.
I work better under like a lot of pressure.
Mm. And at that time, were you in house or were you going to different studios or was it specifically to the label you were signed to?
No, it was kind of just like whoever really. That
Mm.
like that's the thing. You can sign to a certain publisher or a certain label, but at the end of the day, like no one's off limits. Like they want you working with as many people as possible.
Mm. And that's the thing about a publishing deal. I think a lot of people don't get the difference between being signed to a label, getting a publishing deal, or getting maybe a management deal only. Could you maybe break those down? The
Yeah, well, a
differences?
management deal is obviously actual manager, and they're in charge of your day to day like decisions, your day to day getting you sessions, trying to hype you up to people basically. And
Mm-hmm.
sorting out a lot of admin because there's a lot of like emails to be replied to and all that kind of crap.
Mhm.
Um, a publisher, so basically, a publishing deal is they just concentrate. So they give you an amount of money um, to basically buy half of your rights to all of your songwriting credits. So they have an invested interest in you to want to get you to write as many fucking songs as possible
Mhm. Mhm.
for like 4 years
Mhm.
to make the money back. And they don't care like where that comes from. They don't care like what label that person's on. It that doesn't matter. Um, and obviously, you can have a publishing deal and a label deal, a record deal. And the record deal is just for if you're an artist and you're actually releasing songs. Um,
Mhm.
and that is a little bit more. Sometimes the labels don't want you working with certain. If you're a signed artist, some labels don't want you working with um what's the word?
Companies,
Yeah,
producers,
certain
musicians.
companies like writers and stuff. So
Mhm.
like it can get a bit funny like that. But mainly in the publishing world, they just want you as busy as possible.
At that time, would you say that getting a publishing deal was the right move, or did you want to maybe stay working and stay grinding for a little bit more?
Yeah, I wish now looking back on it, I wish that I'd grinded a bit more.
Mhm.
Um, but at the time I was so fucking broke, so I just needed the cash really bad.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, looking back on it, I wish I never took that deal now. I wish
Um.
I had like sorry, I wish I had like a Discord like this to kind of
Mhm.
meet people and shit like
Mhm.
6 years ago. But
I
yeah,
always see like when people talk about, oh, I want to get signed, or I want to get these specific like achievements when it comes to like the financial aspect of music, and I'm always looking at it and being like,
I think
there's always a
yeah,
lot
I
of
mean
work you need to put in
yeah,
before that even becomes worth it.
yeah, for sure. And also like you don't just want to be another number on
Exactly.
their on their publishing roster or on their like label roster because if you're going to take 3 years to develop into there's people that I know that are still on signed to a record deal they've not even released one single and like they're still developing them in the studio they're still like getting them to write songs sorting out their image
Hmm.
that's taken like 4 years like and they haven't earned a single penny since the
Hmm.
day that they signed that
Hmm.
deal and it's just like you could have done this without being in that deal
Hmm.
like or just like the label should have waited to sign that
Hmm.
person until they were ready. But um, personally, I wish I'd waited a little bit longer because at the time I was pretty young still, so
Hmm.
I was kind of naive and I was really broke, and I just thought, fuck it, like this is everything. This is everything I've been working for.
Hmm.
And then looking back, you're like, you start to realize that just because you've got your foot in the door doesn't mean like fuck all. Basically, you
Hmm.
need to still be sick at what
Hmm.
you do, and that takes time. That takes a lot of time.
Hmm. And going back to maybe that part of personally, at that point, when you signed, when you started working on music, was there any personal goals you had in mind for the music you wanted to make, or was it just focused on, I need to make money right now?
That was pretty much my main motivation at the time because I was completely broke, so I really did need the cash.
Hmm.
But from like a personal standpoint, I thought like I'd made it almost. I thought like, oh, I'm gonna be working with like fucking Drake, like all this kind of shit, and they kind of sell it to you like that as well.
Hmm.
And like the reality is, you're just like some 21-year-old from London. Drake's not gonna fucking touch you with like a barge pole, but they kind of sell you the dream of that.
Hmm.
Um, But yeah, it's my personal ambitions at the time were just to like stay in this career for as long as possible.
Hmm.
Um, I'm still kind of doing it now, so I must be doing something right from then. But I've definitely got better since that day, definitely.
For sure. And when you were doing all of these things and you were basically, were you like scouring the internet for like genres or ideas or tips and tricks and stuff like that to improve?
Well, at the time I was making pop music, so that was like it's I it is so paint by numbers. It's just insane.
Hmm.
And the artists that I was working with all sounded the same.
Hmm.
It's kind of like I could basically just sleepwalk through the session, like, not even trying. I was just kind of just this is there is almost like a rule book on how to write pop music if you're like a signed songwriter.
Hmm.
Like there's a certain group of sounds that are used in every single track. There's a certain synth that is mainly used in every track, same bass sound, and it just yeah. I only did pop music because that's what they wanted me to do, but I didn't listen to it or enjoy it.
While
So
you were
when that,
working on all of those in the back of your head, did you go like at some point I'm gonna put my own spin on this, or I'm gonna try to suggest like maybe we change a certain
yeah, I
thing?
would definitely try. I would definitely try every single time I try. But the artists just don't want to because
Hmm.
they're just worried about what people will think of it
Hmm.
more than anything. And like lots of the artists that are already signed to labels and they're developing them or whatever, they're very set in their ways of like the label wants this. Like there's like if I don't do what the label tells me, like they're gonna fucking drop me. And it's like, well,
Hmm.
you're not making the best music you possibly can if you're thinking that. I think there definitely needs to be more artists who take more chances.
Hmm. And maybe
Sure.
shifting from being in the studio with specific artists given to you, have you shifted to working now to more like independent artists or finding people in the Discord or
Yeah.
stuff like
Well,
that?
like, yeah, I've found so many artists in the Discord. Like, even you, like you, there's Keegan, there's Marv, there's so many fucking artists. Ouya, like, so many sick artists that I'm like, you guys are gonna blow up way harder than the people that I was working with. Trust me.
Mhm.
Like,
And
um,
do you see the benefit of working independent or even just working outside of the industry bubble?
yeah, like totally, like all you guys are really open to really creative ideas, or you are putting your own ideas on the table for someone like me to kind of do my thing with. Like,
Mm.
that's pretty rare. That doesn't really happen in recording sessions.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's honestly been sick.
Mhm.
It's been really, really like refreshing
Mhm.
and really empowering as well because you're kind of like, fuck, I'm trying new stuff and it sounds cool.
Mhm.
And this is how the next wave of music might sound or whatever. And
Mhm.
I can try it with you guys and you guys can try it with me or like whatever. I just think that's like a sick way to work.
For sure, for sure. And now this part of the interview is sort of when I wanted to like shift from like the past and the struggles and the shit you went through that you might not have been so happy about to right now. How do you feel about your music? How do you feel about the industry you're working with, the people you're working with? Have you seen like an improvement, or do you feel you're still sort of in a mental state of, oh, I'm in a box to some extent?
No, like I'd say over the past 2 years, I've definitely tried to work on more like hip hop stuff and like left field stuff. I've really like I've been way happier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I love pop music sometimes, but I couldn't make it anymore. Um, yeah, I've definitely felt more, and because I've shifted to something that I enjoy writing, I've noticed that my writing's got better, and I'm taking more chances, and my production's getting better along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah,
from
yeah.
from basically from seeing the Discord, have you picked up on any like abnormalities or any parts of the Discord that you may have gone like, oh, people produce like this or people collaborate in this way? Have you picked up on anything?
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of people see collaboration as like a way to profit. Um, which I wasn't really that aware of, like wasn't really that aware of like charging for collabs and stuff.
Wait, people do that?
People do that, yeah, apparently. I don't know why the fuck they do that. Like, um,
Oh God.
I've just noticed that everyone in here is like, except for the people that I've kind of worked with already. A lot of people were like, "Oh, do I need to charge? Do you do like, are you charging me?" And I was like, "What the?
Mhm.
Like,
I
that's
think I
crazy."
think that's the sort of like growing up phase of like getting into a community like this, especially with music when like every artist is available to you, you don't know what to ask anymore.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, like a lot of the people that have been working together are definitely like on the up. So it's only going to help everyone involved if you're just kind of working together on
Mhm.
stuff. I honestly think that there's going to be so many people blowing up from the Discord. I just think it's just a matter of time.
Mhm. Yeah, I see the same. I really think like it's been 7 months right now with basically constant collaboration, constant inspiration, constant assistance from like Kenny, from people like you coming in chat, Preems, Keegan, Corson,
Yeah,
everyone just being here and like if when you see everyone share their work every day, it
yeah.
becomes like a really special thing of like, oh, there's something happening here and I want to be a part of it, and you like that's why I made like 20 songs in like 2 weeks and stuff like that. It's
Hey,
like
exactly, man. And
you
like,
need to like see that opportunity. You need to go, this is energy I have to take on right now.
that's exactly it. Like, I think it's more just the energy is just right,
Mm,
and everyone who is working together, I could imagine everyone in one room like having a fucking great time.
mm,
Like, there's just really good people with like super good energies. I don't know anyone who's like said no to someone.
mm,
Even if they don't necessarily like fuck with them that much, they're like, fuck it, I want to try it. I'm gonna do it. And like, if it sucks, it sucks. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
mm.
Um, yeah, it's just the community vibe is just so strong, and I honestly think that you cannot get this many people in one place who are that talented without people blowing up. It's
Mm.
just like, even DVR is, he potentially signing to XL. It's like
I
that's just
think
one
that's
dude.
a
He's
leak. I think that's literally a leak because he signed to Blood Company.
oh shit, fuck. Oh, I
He
shouldn't.
signed to Blood Company, but for sure, I mean, like again to what you said, like people are already blowing up and getting these achievements from the industry standpoint.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and I feel like everyone's on the same wave, and everyone realizes like that what reason that they're here for is to work with other people and like also make like friends with people who will basically be there for them if they ever have a question or
Mhm.
whatever. I think that's just super cool. I'm just so down with that vibe.
Mm. For sure, I even think like when you just go community and you go like, there's a giant group of people in here who, I mean, criticism exists, of course, because it's necessary, but there's no negativity at
No,
all.
no. I feel like if anyone's got like something to say about someone's song, they'll say it, but it's coming from a good place. It's not
Mm,
coming from a place of like jealousy or just to take someone down. I don't think I don't. I've never personally seen. Well, I've seen maybe a couple of people say it,
mm.
but they've swiftly been dealt with.
I think it's because like it's sort of the thing of like artist empathy to some extent. Like you know what this person went through to make this song, or what they had to like grow or become or learn to make a song or a beat or anything like from an
Yeah,
artistic perspective. So you can't really like talk down on it. It's always like, this is
yeah,
good, this is good, you could have done this better. It's never,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
bad.
And as well, like it's kind of like when I'm in the Discord, I actually forget the Kenny Beats Discord part. Like it's got to the point now where like I don't actually think about Kenny when I think about the Discord. I think about Kenny when it comes to the streams.
For sure, same.
Um, it's just kind of got to the point where like there's so many people who aren't even a fan of him in there, like just because
So
they've
many
just heard
people.
about like they've just heard about this place where you can get like sound kits and in whatever, like people to work with, like samples, like post up your songs for feedback,
Mhm,
and basically it's like having a group of like friends in one place who dig your music and dig everyone else's music as well.
mhm,
Because sometimes when you're talking to your own friends about your own music, they're like, yeah, whatever, like it's fucking shit, like
mhm.
whatever. Or like they don't really understand or whatever. So it's good to have a place where everyone's on the same wavelength.
I love
Like,
that. I love that quote from the last stream. The part of your friends aren't your fans.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, yeah. Like your friends can say so much shit about you,
Mm,
and like kind of forget what you actually do for your job. And
mhm,
like, some people just don't like certain types of music. So
mhm,
in this place, there's all these people who like the same type of music or very similar types of music. So they have like a pretty good opinion on things.
mhm,
But yeah, I think it's like the best resource for like producers on the internet. I
mhm.
honestly do.
And as a resource, what have you picked up on any specific things, or has there been a moment where you like learned about a plugin or even
Yeah, yeah.
a
Well, like
production style?
obviously through the Kenny stream, been watching because I'm a fan and I'm just interested. I like stick it on if I'm like cooking or something. Um, but then through him, I found out about Alex Toomey, who I wasn't that familiar with. I knew the name, but I kind of wasn't really like that. I didn't really follow him on any socials or anything.
For sure, for sure.
Um, yeah, through his streams, I've learned so much, like stuff that I would think like I would know.
Hmm.
Then I'm watching someone else do it like 10 times better, and I'm like, fuck, okay, I can like write that down
Hmm.
and try that on my next track or whatever.
Hmm.
It's just like YouTube but on steroids. It's
It is, it
crazy.
is, it is.
It's like, but imagine all the YouTube stuff that you've watched that literally is such crap. You're like, this is like I've just wasted 6 minutes of my time on
Mhm.
something that you've just done wrong. But this is like from people who actually know what they're talking about. You're
It's
watching them.
curated. It's curated. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
uh,
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Seeing an environment like this where there's constant work, constant like collaboration, stuff like that, has that also changed maybe how you make music right
Yeah,
now?
for sure. I was definitely lazy when it comes to making music.
Hmm.
It's probably because I wasn't having that much fun. Um, it kind of gets a bit
Yeah.
boring, like
Hmm.
just going to sessions every day
Hmm.
and the same type of people, or kind of just having the same like mute like industry outlook on things. And it's like I think like a lot of artists go into sessions with like a preconceived idea of what they want anyway. So you're just there to fucking listen to them and kind of do exactly what they want rather
For sure.
than
For sure.
like just try something new or whatever. But yeah,
There was, yeah.
it's definitely and seeing everyone do well in like the beat battles and do well like getting shout outs and the server versus server stuff and like even people just saying like good morning when you just go into the Discord. It makes me like feel good about making music for the day or
Hmm.
just really pumped to like come up with some ideas because I'm like these people would want to hear it when I finish with it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just been like a breath of fresh air like from the minute I started talking to everyone.
Hmm. There's always this weird feeling when you realize that in the end, no matter what you make, someone wants to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's always
Sure.
this like really good feeling of like, oh, my work is being maybe not like over exaggerated, but it's being appreciated to some extent. Like when I
Yeah.
post, someone is gonna listen and they're gonna give their honest opinion on it.
And I'm sure like you've noticed like yourself, there's people that are now following your music because they're seeing you around the Discord or, seeing your Twitch or whatever. Like must be loads of people like that following you now.
Mm, yeah, for sure. It's
And even
this.
when you're just chatting shit in there, like they know who you are now and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I mean, that's the thought of like everyone who's following me on social media, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Spotify, everything like that.
Yeah.
It's Discord people. But
Yeah.
to me, that doesn't feel like it's just my friend. It feels like, oh, these people actually care about what I'm doing.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't
for
feel like
sure.
it's a forced thing anymore. It's like, oh, all these people streaming my song, they actually like it.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're fans of yours because they've seen how it's grown. They've seen how it's like your day one fucking fans.
Exactly,
Like this is
exactly.
how it used to be when people actually put in work when they were trying to be an artist. Like this is essentially what they were doing, but in the real world.
Hmm.
Like I feel like loads of artists now don't put in the effort when it comes to getting a fan base. Like I know you say this that is just Discord people or whatever, but those guys will be on your side for forever now. Like those are proper fans. And then
Hmm.
you build yourself up from that.
Hmm.
And a lot of artists forget that. They're like, no, it's just about Instagram numbers or Twitter numbers or
I
whatever. And it's
try I try to discourage people from looking at numbers every time.
yeah, it's just it means nothing. Like that person could like your picture, but they'll never listen to one of your songs ever again.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean anything. So
Hmm.
like these guys who are in here all the time, like promoting the artists that are in here, like
Hmm.
that is I can't even tell you how important that is.
Yeah, and especially when you have a week like this, because this week, Uya's dropping, Keegan's dropping, Sean's dropping, Neff is dropping, a bunch
Yeah.
of people are dropping them. It's almost like we're like the fan club that's like spamming links and stuff like that. It's because we know these people and we're like, it happened. The song is out. This song is
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
This album is out. Keegan's album is out tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. And usually half the time you've heard the fucking song before.
Yeah,
Like the problem, like you've already heard it, like they've been leaking it or something.
they've been
Or
making it in front of you. You've been
yeah, also
seeing the
they've been making
production
it.
and the vocals and all that.
It's just cool to like see it go on like a proper platform where other people who it feels like people when they release it, it's like, yeah, like the world can see what we've like all been seeing.
Hmm.
It's kind of like we're getting like the previews.
Hmm. That's what I love about whenever someone posts anything in the Discord, even in sound share or even in sub chat. It's always like, am I getting like a world's first at something that's gonna be amazing or giant?
Yeah.
Because
Well, yeah, exactly. Like every time I hear Uya's stuff and you as well, because your voice is like super poppy. It feels like radio ready. Do you know what I mean? Your voice is quite a bit like Posty. It's a bit like quite a few artists that you've got the tone of where it's like, fuck, if I heard that on the radio, I wouldn't even blink twice. Like it sounds like it should be on the radio.
And I love when I hear and see people like that in the Discord where you hear their music and it's like this doesn't sound like it's your first attempt. It sounds like you've been through like the loops of like recording, doing everything. You're a seasoned musician. Is that a word? Probably.
Exactly. Like there's you, Uya, who I think have really, really strong like radio voices. And every time I hear something, I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a single. Like it's that kind of vibe.
Mhm.
And there's Marv, who just sounds like a better version of like SZA. Then you've got Keegan, who's just got like an amazing voice and is a really good songwriter. And you've got rappers like fucking Junior, who's like a sick rapper who was on the first Server versus Server EP.
Mhm.
I honestly think it's like if he had the right song, he would just blow up.
Mhm.
Like sick voice,
Mhm.
and just there's too many people. Like I can't even think of
Mhm.
names off the top of my head, but yeah, there's just so many people where I'm like, if you just carry on doing this, if you just carry on writing and using the producers and songwriters and stuff, people that are in here, like, and then you put it out when
Mhm.
it's all done, like, it's going to be so strong. Like Marv, especially, like she was on the fucking VMAs, like, that's crazy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hasn't even released a fucking song.
Mhm.
Like, it's mental. I just get more and more shocked the more, but I shouldn't really be shocked because I know it's going to happen. But
Yeah, it's basically a pressure cooker. At some point, it's gonna be like everyone is gonna drop, and it's gonna be amazing, and everyone's gonna go like, "This happened in sub chat.
yeah,
What's going on?"
there's going to be like a genius thing about it. I'm convinced.
This is gonna be a
I'm,
genius
I'm,
post.
honest- I'm convinced there will be like a like mini 10-minute documentary on this Discord and Twitch and whatever.
There's gonna be some kid on YouTube going like, "I was a part of the Kenny Beats
Yeah,
Discord in 2018 and stuff or 2020."
exactly. And like, we've got the Discord legends, so
Hmm. And
good.
speaking of Discord legends, because you are a Discord legend and OG when it comes to SVS, especially, I was a part of SVS, the second SVS, but you were a part of the first one. And the roster, the artist list for that one, it's like reading like an all-star game. When you read over, it's Junior, Keegan, Corson, everyone who's right now who we all look to as like these are the certified people. All of you guys were like in one group at one point.
Yeah, it was strange how that came about because we didn't really know. So basically, Luke, who's the mod on here, he just kind of was kind of just like this. You got to bear in mind this was like month one of. I think it was like month one of like the Discord.
Yeah, I was there. I saw it happen. It was
Yeah, like
crazy.
I think I was only there for like 2 weeks before this happened.
What?
Um, and then like um, he would kind of just put this group together. I think you were in there as well, weren't you? You were in the group.
I wasn't in the group, but I was in chat.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely were because I remember. Um, yeah, and they were just kind of putting together this thing. I don't really know what it was, how it was even explained, but
Mhm.
basically they said like, yeah, there's this like server versus server thing, and I just thought from a personal standpoint, I was like, yeah, cool. I get to work. That was the first time that I properly collaborated with anyone.
Mhm.
Um, on the Discord because it wasn't really happening before that.
Hmm.
Like people were working together, but it was kind of just like one time or like one
Yeah,
or two
yeah, for
people.
sure.
And then I think as soon as like people saw like the server versus server thing, that's when like the collaborations just went crazy. Um, but like for the better because everyone's like, fuck, like everyone should be working with each other. Like, look
Yeah,
at what they like.
when you
It's,
see an end result like that, it becomes apparent like, oh, this isn't just like a jokey server where you drop your shitty 8 bar
exactly,
hook and stuff
it's
like
not
that.
about, like beat battles. It's about like being there for other producers and being there for other artists and working
Yeah.
together. Um,
SVS right now, speak on that from the perspective of someone who's been in sessions, who's been in writer groups, who's been in stuff like that, where you've basically been on the industry side. Speak on that from the perspective of, oh, now you're doing this basically on your free time or on your own volition.
it's basically just the same. It's basically the same. So you just, well, the first thing was about the server versus server thing was like no one did any work for about the first 2 weeks. I don't think anyone even chatted on the chat. And I think got to about a week before the actual deadline for the songs and stuff, and everyone was like, okay, like, yeah, maybe we should make something.
That's
So I
such a
was just like,
flex.
yeah, I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna drop this instrumental in here. Like, you guys go fucking ham on it. I don't care who goes on it.
Was it
Uh,
socially distant, please?
yeah, it was actually, it
Oh my
was, and I was
god.
like, oh shit, he's actually put in like a pretty good song into this. Maybe we should actually write something. Um, so yeah, that happened, but it's not that dissimilar to the real world writing sessions for
Mhm,
an artist. It's kind of just like you're kind of playing loads of ideas, and then they like
mhm.
one, and you kind of help them craft it from there.
Maybe going over that right now when you said in the industry side versus like what happens in the Discord. For someone who's in the Discord right now who's like doing music and they constantly have that thought of like, oh, I want to get to a studio and stuff like that, or I want to get to a label. What parts of the Discord already have like similarities to industry work?
Um, what do you mean, like writing with people?
Writing with people, collaborating with people. What parts do people don't know like they're already getting experience in?
Just talking to artists and like them explaining a vision and you giving them an instrumental
Mm-hmm.
that is their vision. Or just kind of talking to them about stems or talking to them about vocal takes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like working in a studio environment isn't that different. You just got really good equipment around you. Um, even saying that, like on the server versus server, I recorded my vocals on the iPhone and they still sounded great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't have any speakers at that point because that was when coronavirus just like the whole pandemic just kicked off and all my stuff was at the studio. So I was at home the whole time, wasn't allowed to go to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even have any headphones. I just mixed it all on my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess kind of like there's nothing stopping anyone in the Discord from making sick music.
Mm-hmm.
And they could be learning from just people saying no to them as well,
Mm-hmm.
because that happens a lot. Like, and I see certain people in the Discord where it's like, why don't you put me on this track? Like, why don't you do that? And it's just like, well, this is the real world, and there's the people who are making music too, and maybe some people need to learn that, if anything.
Mm-hmm. So we covered past, we covered right now, what you've been doing in the Discord, what you've been doing in music. Future right now, if you want to look at it, I know COVID's a whole situation, stuff like that, but future Lotus Capo, where do you want to see yourself when it comes to like
Uh,
production, when it comes to collaboration, even goals
so,
right now?
my goals, I would definitely want to work on um, a song that goes, it's a plaque. I think that would be my next.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like my career goal right now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to work on a track that goes like that goes big, rather than just working on tracks that do well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that doesn't necessarily mean with like the biggest artists in the world, but I just want someone's song that I've been involved with to take off
Mm-hmm.
really, really big. Um, Personally, I just want to keep working. I just want to keep being busy and keep working on the Discord stuff and keep working on real life artist stuff. think if coronavirus stopped tomorrow, I wouldn't stop working with the Discord or whatever, or because that was essentially why this was happening at the time, and that was why Kenny was doing streams and stuff because people were fucking like stuck indoors essentially
Hmm.
or whatever. I kind of remember that being around that time.
Hmm.
Um, that's kind of why it took off so much because so many people were like not going out.
Hmm.
Um, long-term goals is probably just keep working with you guys in the Discord, keep finding like sick artists,
Hmm.
keep building relationships with you guys that are already in there, and just keep writing great songs with you guys. And that's the same on the real life industry part of my world as well.
Hmm.
Um, just just keep writing like sick music. That's all I want to do. I just want to carry on being super creative and carry on writing good music. I'm
Hmm.
happy. Like, and hopefully, if one or two of those things become pretty big, then that's like my proper career bonus goal.
For
That's
sure.
simple.
For sure. Okay, I have two questions left, and then
Although I'd like to go.
I have a little game I want to try out. But
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
right now, because you've been basically you have this perspective that I really appreciate you for sharing. First of all, I'm glad you want to talk about your industry times and even right now in studio sessions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right now, when you've been through all of those things, what advice has like stuck by you when it comes to making music?
Mm, literally, don't overthink shit. That is like the best aim. And it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
But the best advice I've ever been given, um, shit,
You
that's really
you can change it from the experience you learned the most from.
experience I've learned the most from. Experience I've definitely learned the most from was, and I found out that someone stole like one of my beats and released it, and then the only way I heard about it was because it was on the radio. Yeah, that was like one of the worst life lessons ever. And basically, the life lesson is don't fucking trust anyone and make sure that you've got everything like all your business sorted before you even like exit the fucking studio.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like if you're giving out a sample or something, make sure you fucking name your sample or put your name on it, put your contact details on it or whatever, or make sure your manager knows that you've sent that or whatever it is. But just make sure that you're not naive and don't put too much trust in people who are eventually gonna fuck you over.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds so cynical, but
No, no, it's the honest perspective.
just only trust yourself really.
Mm-hmm.
Only trust yourself.
For sure.
Also trust like if you think something's good, I've definitely learned over time that people have given me some really crap advice when it comes to like my music choices or my sound choices and stuff, and made songs worse or whatever. Like a manager might pipe in and be like, "Oh, you should try like a different bass. It's not sounding right." But if you think it sounds good, then other people will think it sounds good, and that guy's you know advice is fucking irrelevant. So just always trust your instincts when it comes to music because
Mm-hmm.
that is the best way to make music.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Capo, last question, and then I want to try out my little game. Imagine right now some kid in chill chat. He just joined the server. He's spamming his shitty beats every day. Nothing's working for him. Nothing's improving.
Yeah.
What should he basically keep in mind when he wants to say fuck this music shit?
Um, definitely don't say fuck this music shit because you've obviously got to improve. Um, I don't know, maybe like I think people like that need to take a step back and be like, have I put in 10,000 hours before I'm fucking, trying to act like I'm the fucking bee's knees? If they haven't, then there's a lot of time. Like you will never stop getting better. So, and also people like that probably need to maybe realize that criticism can be constructive
Mm-hmm.
and take it on board. And not everyone is out here to say your beats are fucking shit. And, stop fucking posting it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather someone took on a bit of criticism that I gave them and came back like a day later with a beat that was 10% better than the beat that they posted, because you will eventually get to the point where you're making great stuff all the time. And it is a long process getting good at making beats and even just understanding how music is written and is put together, because sometimes a lot of people just, I do it all the time. I like throw 10,000 ideas at a song. It just sounds crazy muddy, and you know, I've overcooked the soup.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, just kind of maybe take if someone was spamming chill chat and sending beats all the time, just stop putting beats on there. Like, spend a few hours a day making beats, a few hours a day watching YouTube or tutorials or whatever, or Alex Toomey or Kenny or whoever the fuck it is. Watch them, learn from them, and then the next day try to like implement those ideas, and you'll definitely notice yourself getting better.
Mhm.
Definitely. And also stop spamming your fucking beats.
I think the advice I always give is nothing you make is supposed to be released.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
something you should keep in mind. It's
Exactly.
whatever you make right now, especially right now, if you're in the Discord, all the stuff you're making is, I hope, in a folder that you can look back at in like 4 years and go like, oh fuck, I was trash.
Yeah,
That's my thing about it. It's like never delete anything. You don't have to put everything out.
I will send you like something that I made like 8 years ago, and it
Can I
just,
play it on the show?
yeah, you can play it on the show,
Oh my
and
god.
like and I'll send you something that I made yesterday, and that
Ooh,
like
that's good. That's good.
that's a good one, and it will literally show you how much effort I've had to put in to, and like everyone does, everyone has to put in that effort if they want to be
Mhm.
good at something. It
Okay.
doesn't just come naturally. Like even Kenny says on the stream, like he's not naturally talented. He had to work it. Everyone who works in music has to work it.
Mhm.
One can have a bit of talent to start with, but in the end, talent isn't as isn't as good as like determination and passion for something.
Mhm. That was that was great. That was amazing. All those questions, we got through it. We got to a good conclusion at the end. I want to try something right now, which it came to me a couple of hours before we started recording this right now. Especially for producers when they come in, I love the idea of Pensado's Place having batter's box.
All
Uh,
right, sweet.
so I want to have a drum roll right now. Lotus
Okay.
Capo, this is your batter's box. I am going to
Okay.
give you a question, a word, a person from the Discord. You're going to have to respond immediately.
Oh, what? So okay. So have to give either one of those or all of those.
I'm going to say a person, a question. I'm going to say a question, give you maybe a word, give
Okay.
you a person from the Discord. First thing that comes to mind.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Loops,
Splice.
Corson,
Streets pay him.
favorite microphone,
Fuck. The C1000
favorite synth plugin,
synth plugin. Arturia Mini.
EQ,
Pro Q3.
DAW,
Logic.
Keegan,
Absolute baller.
Preems,
My Puerto Rican prince.
Kenny,
Bald.
BPM,
150.
bass,
Heavy.
guitars,
Useless.
minor or major key,
Minor.
autotune,
Essential.
live drums or program drums,
Mm, tomato, tomato.
compressors,
Overused.
luff,
I don't know what that is.
least expensive piece of gear, piece of a plugin sample that you used on a song.
A teacup.
A teacup. Goddamn. Okay, we got through it. Wait. Last one. The Discord.
Legendary.
Legendary. Legendary. That's how we finish this. Legendary. That was great.
Legendary. Legends
Capo,
chat.
this was amazing. I hope you
Yeah.
can get me those 2 tracks so I can play them on the
Yeah,
show. Do you have any preference for a song from the Discord that you want to be played after your interview?
yeah, I do actually. Um, can you? I think I've got it. I really want. Um, where is it? This one. Oh fuck! I can't send it. It's day one. Whoever that is.
Wait, that's me.
Oh, is that you?
That's
That you?
me.
That
That's
you and
me.
Wheeler?
Wulong, Ian Crumsley from Gold's Reaver.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that one. I like that one.
I'll play that one. I'll play that one.
Actually, can you play another one
Hit
as
it.
well? Can you play iCarly or whatever it was?
That's me and Sabi.
Yeah. Can you play that one? That
I
one's a
got
tuning.
you. I got you. iCarly, day one, team two represent, SBS team two represent.
That's
This
the
was an
one.
amazing interview. Lotus, thank you so much for doing this. This is going to help a bunch of people. A lot of people are going to look at this, listen back to this. Yeah, this was amazing.
Like, and also if anyone is out there who just wants to chat about anything, I'm always in the Discord and DM me or whatever. I always reply to people.